Hello and welcome back to United We Stand, Divided We podcast, our first live podcast, live streaming from Streamlabs. What's
Oh,
up,
I see.
everybody? And we have Lionel from the good state, or not state, country of Canada, Toronto, to be more specific.
That's right. Yeah, it's not a state, although some
No.
people might disagree with that and call it a police state. But that's it's another story altogether. I won't get into politics right now.
State was a habit. Habitually, I call things, state, because everything here is just, that state, this state, that state. So
Yeah, well, we do use the term state here for things like, for instance, if a child is loses their parents and they have to go into the system, or parents literally are gone, whatever, or for any reason, they say the child is a ward of the state. So terms like that are still used. It's just we don't have a state. We have provinces in place of states.
yes.
Same idea, though.
Like I said, first live stream. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, drop them in the chat. We'll see them, and we'll definitely be responding. So,
of course, we'll repeat that when one of you is actually watching.
We're just pretending we have a whole slew of people in the chat right now.
Just to be clear, we kind of decided at the last minute not to record and to go live. So we sort of didn't quite have an intro for live prepped, so that it would give anyone who comes across it the idea, okay, they're going to be live in 5 minutes, so I'll go grab some popcorn and see what dumb things they might have to say. So anyways, let's get on this, and we'll just start talk about stuff, because this will be recorded. So if you didn't get to see it live, you still get to see it later anyways.
Indeed.
So we talked a lot about AI last week, and of course there seems to be new news virtually daily lately, and a lot of it's new news. There's new sites popping up, or not necessarily new, but new to us, as in, well, we're just hearing about it. We mentioned Hydra last week. Showed you some examples of how that one works. I believe you, Robert, had mentioned another one as well. I can't remember what that one was. But there's also another one out of China that's apparently extremely good, but you have to have a Chinese phone number and to get on their waiting list to get on it. Now, I've seen a couple of people, YouTubers, go on it. Good for them. Thank you for showing us it. I'm going to say, especially if you're American or Canadian, don't do that unless you actually do have family in China or business relations in China or something, because I don't think it's a good idea. Get right now. The way things are, if you're not connected in some way like that, because I don't know, who knows where the software, and it's AI. You're messing with AI, and people worried about spying Chinese stuff. This is AI.
Do you remember the name of it?
I don't.
So there's another one that I have played around with. I haven't really used it because I don't know. It just seemed like it was too cost prohibitive. But anyways, it's called HeyGen, HeyGen, and it kind of is the same premise of the Hydra, except it's a little more like business orientated. I think they do kind of the whole avatar thing, but they give you actually like people, like you can take like this animated person and apply your voice to it or whatever. It looks pretty cool too, but I haven't really used it, so I don't know exactly how it compares to like Hydra or whatnot. So, but it looks pretty cool.
I can't seem to find it. Apparently there's a number of Chinese sites, and I'm looking all over the place, and oh my goodness, Steel Series is trying to install an update. I'm telling it no. Sorry. Windows, folks. Well, you know what? Never mind that. It happens to Apple. It happens to Android. It's all over the place, and everything is updating right now. So I won't get into that. Although I will say. Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say I'll share this screen real quick just so you can at least see what it is.
Yeah,
and that way you can kind of get an idea. Oops, sorry, wrong button.
That's not the wrong button. It's advertising. United We Stand, Divided We Podcast. Hit the like and subscribe. Do it now. Uh, all right, we're still waiting on that, but
Yeah.
well, while we're
Oh,
waiting
man.
on that,
Okay, so
okay, here we go.
this is HeyGen. So as you can see, it has this, like talking head here, and it gives you the ability of, using like these specific kind of avatars. See, it's got like a whole slew of them. It's designed, I think, a little differently as far as the
Yeah,
case than what the Hedra is. Um, but I don't know. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, I just haven't really played around with it much, so I don't really know. See, like moving
is
and
this a
scaled
free
out.
one or a free trial?
I think they do have,
Oh, free, yeah.
yeah, so they do have a free, but it's of course super limited.
1 general credit? Is that what that
Yeah,
says?
yeah, and I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Single user workspace, avatar video translation. I don't know if that means you can only do 1 video or if it just eh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, click on the monthly one.
See,
See
general
what changes.
credits can be used for any HeyGen product. 1 credit generates 1 minute of video.
Oh, so you could do like 10 1-minute or 10 1-minute. Let me try that again.
You could do 1 period.
1-minute video or several much shorter videos. Anyways,
Yeah,
go click on the monthly instead of yearly. I wanna see what that looks like.
yeah.
Okay, so obviously nothing in the 0 column, but that it gives you an idea of what savings are if you were to pay for the year. Um,
Right,
15
but
general
see,
credits. Did that $29 a month? Well, and if you're not doing it yearly, that is. Seems a little excessive, but at the same time, it seems about in line with what others are doing, roughly.
that's not a lot of, I mean, they're not giving you as much for,
No, no.
like, for example,
I haven't seen it yet.
HeyGen, excuse me, Hedra, you can spend like $10 a month and get like a lot of
Yeah.
hours. Like you get like
Oh,
do
well,
all
no,
kinds
he
of videos.
definitely on the better. And the thing about it is, it may not be the best one out there, and in fact, probably isn't. But it's also the best option you can get for nothing. And it's also the best option you can get for less money. Um, but and also one of the easiest ones to sign up to and get using as well. But this one looks like it could be like, does it do the same types of things, or is it limited to just doing this type of AI video, like what you're seeing here?
See, I'm pretty sure this is like what it's designed, like what it's created for is this type of like business type thing. Um,
Info videos type thing.
yeah, yeah. And they say,
Got
oh,
it.
if you have a company and you want to create like training videos, this would be an awesome thing for training videos.
So
But
wait, does it actually make the arms move and everything too? Have you
yes.
tried it yet?
Like I say, I way back when I first saw it, I think I made one tried to make one video, but I didn't realize I was limited to like 1 minute, and it just did like
Okay.
a
All right. Well,
partial video, and it didn't.
I think one of the things I want to do is maybe give that a shot in the next couple of days or something, and maybe next week we can throw some examples of what this thing is capable of out there
Yeah, but
too.
see, like the way this guy's moving, his arms and all, that's AI generated. That's not a real person. Like
Yeah,
it might be a
that's
real image of him, but that's a AI generated
yeah,
movement.
that to me seems pretty impressive. I mean, if that's the case, then we're looking at something that's it's obviously beyond what anybody thought of. I saw a video on YouTube the other day where they used that Will Smith eating spaghetti example of what we were looking at just a year ago,
Yeah.
and people thought, "Well, that's pretty amazing. It's scary." It looked ridiculous. The spaghetti was morphing into his face, and his face was changing shape. But they did another one with this Chinese app that I was talking or website that I was talking about, and you cannot well, I mean, you could tell it's AI and it's not actually Will Smith, but there's no warping of his face, and the spaghetti's not getting stuck in his, you know. I've seen other ones where they see people and they got their hand up here in the picture, And so they start talking, and the hand starts morphing into the neck, and it's really it's not
Yeah.
great. It's not good. We don't need this up here anymore, do we?
No, I was
Yeah,
gonna try to see if I could play some sound, but I didn't include sound in there. But yeah, so anyways,
okay.
it's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah,
it probably has potential, and I'm sure it does a really good job. But I think
yeah, yeah,
for what it's really designed for, it's not really something that I think
yeah.
me at least would be really,
Yeah,
using.
I wanna be curious about it because I have to be.
Yeah.
Um, but, segueing in, I mean, we're talking about AI, so I wanna throw as much AI stuff in as we possibly can. Well, we all know about, Samsung's new stuff, obviously getting AI in your current phones and newer AI, upgraded AI, and, of course, your new watch. Did they include the AI in the watch, or is that something for the future?
No, there's AI in the watch, but I really haven't messed around with it much, as far as, like, any
Right.
kinda, like, voice control or anything, but I think it has a lot of interaction with the phone, and my phone, the S23, doesn't have a lot of the AI features like the 24 and 25 will, so.
Okay, so wait a minute. Now you mentioned, well, much like mine doesn't compare to what the 9 Pro XL
Right.
will have. Um, but yeah, I forgot what I was gonna ask you about now. It's something you just said about the watch, but I got thrown off by the phone again. Um, yeah,
With
I don't remember. What
AI,
did you just say about the watch?
I was just saying that it apparently does have some AI functionality that's in it, but I think it
Oh, the
pairs.
voice. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
what I was gonna ask you was if you're saying that you haven't experimented with the voice stuff yet, I'm going to assume because we're talking about, the Galaxy AI, which is basically Gemini to a point, to a point. Um, that means, bye-bye to, Bixby, right?
I've never used Bixby ever, and I never will.
Bye-bye, Bixby.
Yeah, and
I just I
it's
have been waiting to say that since they first announced it, by the way. I tried it once, and
yeah, see,
I
I don't
never again.
think I might could install Gemini on here, I don't know, but it keeps prompting me to set up Google Assistant, um,
Right.
which I haven't
Well,
fully set up, but
as long as we're talking about your watch, because of course, I won't be able to get my new watch until it's announced on the 13th, and maybe longer than that because I probably won't have the money right away for it, but, I doubt I'm gonna get the one I want for free. It won't come with the phone. Um, but the, what is it? Sorry, I was gonna say iOS. Don't shoot me. Wear OS Wear OS 5 only
yeah,
supports the watch face format. Old watch faces can't be downloaded. So, there's a number of things, like, on the one hand, I'm so happy about that because the older style, were great for a while, but, as watches got better and better, I started to notice that these old watch faces weren't keeping up, and the developers that were making these watch faces, uh, they were just, they were either getting lazy or they didn't have tools to work with, or maybe a little of
mhm,
both, depending on who they were. In most cases, probably just they didn't have the tools to work with. Everything was getting better, but they still didn't make the operating system robust enough for them to be able to say, "Oh, we can make it that much better."
right,
And so these watch faces are laggy. Uh, they don't look Sometimes they look good, but then as soon as any animation starts, you can like, that doesn't look good even on the
right,
most expensive watch. And I pay an annual fee for Watchmaker, the app Watchmaker, because, I mean, we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of watch faces, which means
yeah,
I'm going to find probably more than 50 in a year that I actually wanna use. To me, that's worth $20 a year or whatever it
yeah.
is. It might
I've
be
used
even more.
Watchmaker.
I think
Good
it's like
watch.
$23 a year, and I love
Yeah,
it, but here's the thing,
it's cheap.
it ain't gonna work when I get my new watch. So what I was wondering is if you could actually test that sucker live on the air and verify that you cannot use Watchmaker, unless
Um,
unless Watchmaker has already started, and I would hope that they would, because they're gonna lose money and lose their business pretty damn quick, because, what is it? Wear OS only started getting popular when Samsung said, "Yeah, okay, I'll start Wear OS 3." And then the Google Pixel watches and Samsung watches. And then everyone else, well, not everyone, a few of them bailed out. But there's only a few players in the game, but it's getting more and more popular because now the watches are getting good enough to compete with Apple watches. Only now is that actually happening in their build quality, how the speed, what you can do with the watch, all this health and features on them, and safety features,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And Wear OS 5 is a leap above uh, Wear OS 4. Wear OS 3 was the first one. It's like, oh hey, now we finally got a Wear OS that I can get on board with. Wear OS 4 made it better. But Wear OS 5 is like we're now trying to get on par with Apple. So
Yeah, and it's not even available to install on my phone.
yeah, that's what I figured. So
Yeah, because it says right here in the app that will not work on this device.
yeah. Yeah, so
So I won't able to install it.
what I'm thinking is the what, and I'm surprised. Um, they probably were notified of this months before this became news to the public. Um, but all of these app manufacturers, or in this particular case, this is an app that is just they're like a logistics company. They're a shipping company, that you store your stuff there, they buy it. They're just a store, right? You pay for a membership and they let you use the stuff. But the developers are the ones that put it out there.
Mhm.
And developers are the ones that get paid for if you buy individual ones separately and don't pay for the membership. Um, but the thing about it is why weren't they given more of a heads up? I'm thinking they should have been given a way bigger heads up and saying, this isn't going to work on Wear OS 5. Here's your instructions on how to change everything to work with Wear OS 5, or to port your stuff over. Because
Yeah, but you're
no
assuming
matter,
they didn't.
well,
I
yeah,
know they
you're
didn't.
right. I am making an assumption, but here's why I'm making that assumption. Because there is nothing what you would expect to see at this point, since this is Samsung we're talking about, not even a Pixel, right? Because they're the first ones to get Wear OS 5. Pixel hasn't been announced yet. I mean, we know it's coming, but it's not till the 13th.
Right.
So it's already there. And none of these huge watchmaker apps, aggregate apps, have anything available for Wear OS 5. Not a single solitary watch face anywhere. Don't get me wrong. A month from now, you'll probably be finding hundreds of them, but you'll have to get them individually, and a lot of them will be paid only individually, and it's gonna suck. People will be charging $6.99 for a watch face that you should have been able to get with a membership, or maybe with the membership only $1.99 or something like that.
Yeah,
And
but
so
they've gotta be
nobody's
working
gonna wanna
on
have
them.
with you.
They gotta be working on it.
I'm pretty sure they are, and if they weren't before, they're definitely doing it now, because they're not gonna make any money in the future. Nobody's gonna wanna buy a watch face for an 8-year-old watch that barely works.
Well, I can tell
It's
you this from using this watch is much snappier than the Watch 5 Pro that I had.
That's not
And
surprising to me at all.
yeah, it's super smooth. The screen is super brilliant, bright.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really bright in sunlight. It's got a smaller battery, and so I have noticed a battery, you know, not lasting as long. I think we talked about that the other day off, the
right.
podcast, but um, because of all of the pros of this watch, I'll take the battery. Like I came home today and I had like 25%, whereas my Watch 5 Pro, I'd probably have like 45%. So I mean, there's a significant difference, but again, I take it off, I charge it, I go to take a shower, get out of the shower, come back, it's fully charged, I put it back on, and I'm good to go for the next 24 hours. So that's a 24-hour wear cycle, and I come home with 25%. So I'm fine with that. Totally fine. I charge it, at night. I take a shower every night, anyways. But like I was saying, is that the watch face itself is actually a little bigger, but the watch itself is actually a little smaller. At least on my wrist, like it's not near as thick. Like the other watch was like super thick, and I used to bang it all the time. And my concern was, oh, I don't have that ridge around the screen like I did on the 5 Pro. And I was concerned, like, because like the Pixel Watch, it's all exposed, that I was gonna, scratch it, which I end up scratching my last Pixel Watch like that. But because it's so much lower profile, I'm finding I'm not even hitting it on things I would hit my 5 Pro on. So I don't know. There's a lot of
Yeah.
positives, but the
Well, yeah, it
whole
sounds like it.
Wear OS 5 situation is definitely something that's kind of frustrating to me too. Not so much for the watch face, because they have like some really awesome watch faces that come like with the app, or excuse me, with the watch in Samsung. But my wife is type 1 diabetic, and she has a pump that has Bluetooth capability. It's got an app you run on the phone, works perfect on the phone. There was like a little workaround tweak I had to do to get it to where it would show up on her watch, so she could look at her watch and see what her blood sugar levels were, and her watch would actually
Yeah.
alert her as well if it was getting, starting to drop or something. And I can't get that to work on her new watch. We've tried everything. We went through all the different forums, and mind you, this pump is from a major manufacturer of diabetic supplies. And again, this is no stranger to, like, it's not like it's brand new. Like, because it's been like 3 years now that she had her other watch, right? Or 2 years. And it was
Yeah.
even available before that. I totally 100% agree. Like, why are these people not like, oh, we need to make sure that this is ready when this comes out, because we have a lot of diabetic people using Android, using their watch to check their blood sugars, and now they're not going to have that feature. We better make sure that's available. That
Yeah.
actually could be a life-saving feature.
Of
Yeah.
course. Of
So, I
course.
mean,
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
would you not prepare yourself and actually do some development? I can't even find any information like, oh yeah, this is coming soon or anything. So I don't know. That kind of stuff to me like frustrates me, because the ability
Yeah, well,
that she had is like awesome. I love the tech, but man, to not have it on this watch is a complete failure.
yeah, no, yeah, I kinda get that, and honestly, like I'm saying, it's gonna be really, really kind of garbagey that the only watch faces I'm gonna be able to use is the 6 or 7 that Google has on built in, because nothing else will work. I won't be able to use a Samsung watch face because it'll be only work on a Samsung, right? Just like Pixel
Well,
watch faces don't work on a Samsung.
I thought all these watch faces I see in here are all like just Google Android type watch faces. I don't.
Oh, really? Let me see your watch face. I guarantee you it's not something available on my
Well, no,
phone.
this watch face is Samsung.
Exactly. That's what I
Okay.
said.
And it's got, as you see, a lot of information. But
I don't know if you can wait, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Let's see. I got to keep my hand on it or it'll go blank.
yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I know I hate it too, but anyways,
Yeah.
you can barely see it, but that's a Pixel watch face. There are tons that look like it because they were made like it on purpose, which won't, of course, work on anything Wear OS 5
So can
because
you so that's what I'm is it gonna
right.
focus in? Maybe not.
What else you got on there? Let me see.
But
I
so I
do see
mean,
something that looks similar to a Pixel
yeah,
watch
I mean,
face.
you see.
Oh, you just froze. Wait, scroll back down because I didn't see anything. You froze.
Oh,
Yeah, most of those don't
yes.
look anything like Pixel. Like you have that many. Wait, is that built into the watch?
No, this is when I go to watch faces within the Samsung Wear app. But these are
Yeah,
all like in the Play
that's
Store.
that. Well, yeah. Wait. Okay, wait. Those are in the Play Store, but they're already Wear OS 5 watch
Yeah,
faces
I
though.
can install all of these.
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff that's on that's actually on the watch. Because most of the ones that are actually in the Play Store, the free ones are garbage, and I don't want to pay for the other ones because why do I want to pay for a watch face that I can use for forever for like a $10 or $20 yearly fee?
Yeah,
But that's gone out the window. So I have a ton of watch faces. I'll see if I can.
but see, all your watch faces are
Eh,
all that watch face or what is it?
Watchmaker.
Watchmaker
Yeah, yeah.
app. That's why they probably won't work. It's not that
Oh,
they're
no, it's not
from
probably.
the
That's
Play Store.
exactly why they won't work because they work on anything up to Wear OS 4. They don't have any Wear OS 5 watches. Yeah, let me see if they. I doubt it because the app itself won't work on your watch unless they have Wear OS 5 watches, which I doubt. Wear OS 5. Nope, nothing. Just like that. So if I go to the Play Store here and I go to Wear OS 5, let's see if that. It's not telling me. So I wouldn't know because I don't have a Wear OS 5 watch right now. But um,
Mm.
that's interesting. Google
Yeah,
Pixel
I
Watch.
thought you had the Wear. Don't you have a Wear app like the
No, Pixel
Samsung?
app. Pixel app.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. Can't you go in
Pixel
there
Watch
and
app.
right
Okay,
and click on watch
yeah,
faces and
yeah, yeah, I guess you're misunderstanding me here. Um, actually, I can't seem to find the dang app. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Um, terms of service. What are you joking? What, this isn't the first time I've opened it. What, leave me alone. Okay, right now
yeah.
I'll go to the faces. Um, all right, let's count them and okay. No shit, wrong way. Whoops, didn't go. One, I forget the second one. This is two. The second one was actually just the Wear OS thing. Or I mean the watch. You know what I mean? Watchmaker. So that's three. Oh, I missed four. Or did I skip one?
It went two, so that's five.
Okay, so
Yeah,
five, six, seven.
7,
Oops, I almost clicked it. Eight,
8, 9.
nine.
This is
Damn
a
it.
lot.
10,
10, 11. So
11.
11.
You think that's a lot?
Well, straight off the bat, but well, so I'm saying you can't go
Did you
to
notice? Did you
the
notice that at least three of them were exactly the same with a slight difference? And then you of course you can change them, but like for instance, the one I have, it looks exactly like that almost, but that's not the one I'm using. But
yeah.
it's like I'm sorry, no. What I would like to see would, good God, I can't. There we go. Can't get out of it. What I would like to see is Google to, just say, okay, well, you know what? We'll find a couple of the best watchmakers, developers, and we'll pay them for 10 or 20, to license,
Yeah.
and develop. Because clearly we don't want to make more with our internal development team because we're too lazy. I believe they have a memo actually calling themselves lazy. I'm just kidding. Uh, it, uh, because it's you know what? It's look, it's Wear OS 5. It's out now. It's only out on one watch series at this point, but it's out now. So why? Like when they made the first Wear OS watch, developers had the SDK for like a year.
Yeah.
There were like 300 watch faces available for the first ever Wear OS watch. So why can't Samsung get 300 watch faces? I know you say you looked at all of those in the Play Store, but how many of those do you think are not Wear OS 5 watch faces and
I
won't
have
install? Exactly. The
yeah, I had
vast
no idea.
majority of them will not install, I guarantee it. You can install them on the app on your phone, but they won't go on your watch. I can do the same thing here.
Well, the watch face that I was using on my 5 Pro transferred to this watch. I just changed it. I did because I found a new one that I like better,
And they
but
work?
and it worked. Yeah.
All of the
Now,
watch faces.
well, the one that I was using, I don't know about all of them, but the one I
Okay.
was using on my 5 transferred to my 7 and it worked fine.
Now,
It
t
the Samsung actually transferred it.
to be clear, it's very likely that the watch face you were using was already either written in the proper code for the updated Wear OS 5, or it was updated to
Yeah.
include it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
because some watch faces do get updates. A lot of
Right.
people don't
Yeah.
know that. Like, when you use something like, what did I just call it again? Watchmaker? There's a good chance, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of watch faces, you may be using a watch face that never gets updated. It just gets
Right.
put out there, and that's the only one you're ever gonna see. But some of the much more popular ones will get updates anywhere from once a year to once every few years, or they'll update it when there's a new version of the OS. Uh, so some of them will, inevitably, but until they have certified that they have Wear OS 5 watch faces, Watchmaker and apps like it will not even install on your watch. And with Wear OS, you have to have the actual third-party watch face app on your
Right.
phone in order to install it. And that's something that they need to get rid of, by the way. I know why they do it. It's a security reason, for safety and security, because they can kill the entire app, which would kill every single watch face if there was an issue uh, coming from it. But I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. It's just a watch face. If something went wrong with it, they could easily build a code into it, would kill it and default to a default watch app.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
And
not? You
that
know?
diabetic, function on the watch,
Yeah.
it technically is a watch face that
Right.
integrates with the app on the phone to bring over the blood sugar information. So it's technically a watch
Yeah.
face. So it's not like an application. So I'm sure that's probably
It's
why too.
using it.
But
It's just using a complication. That's it. It's a
right,
simple complication.
right,
Now, if the watch face itself is able to work, then the complication's automatic. They didn't Wear OS
right.
5 didn't make any changes to the complication. They just made it so that you could use more complications, and so that the complications could actually work better and more efficiently. That's
Yeah,
literally all they did with it. So the watch face itself is able to actually have smoother transitions because it doesn't have to work as hard to do it. But, and it allows it to do more. Um, it's kinda like making, Gemini from 1,000,000 to 2,000,000, tokens. That's kinda like what they did with it, but the difference is, instead of adding more functionality, they add it by taking away all the p basically, let me put it this way, Wear OS 5 is the new PS3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you never owned a PS3. Or, more importantly, you were smart enough to skip the PS3 and go straight to the PS4, where you could play PS2 games. Or you weren't a developer during the PS3 days. I loved my PS3, I swear to God I did. I think pound for pound, it was the most powerful console ever made. Pound for pound. I mean, it's nothing compared to today, obviously, so on and so on. But it was more powerful. The only problem is developers couldn't make for it. That's an that's for another discussion, though.
right.
Uh If we're talking about all you know what? I'm gonna bring this up before I oh my goodness, I was gonna say my watch stopped working. My mouse stopped working. I'm gonna yeah, we haven't had a good real blooper yet. I hope we get one, because we're live. We need a blooper.
This
I don't
isn't
know that
funny as
I
home
would wanna be
videos.
I don't think I'm the one that wants to make it, but okay, I can get rid of that, because we discussed this. So, I'm gonna you know what, this is not an AI thing, however, why not? Uh, um, Black Magic Camera, which, I'm sure everybody's heard of, Black Magic and Red and whatnot. Black Magic, pardon me, the company, Black Magic Design came out with the Black Magic Camera app for iOS. I think it's for somewhere between 4 and 6 months ago. And I remember thinking, well, this is black magic. Everybody seems to want to skip Android and go straight to iOS, but there's no way these guys are going to skip the vast majority of smartphones in the world, especially for users who could benefit even more, because there's I don't care how many pro controls you have in your camera, it won't do as good a job as a true professional and camera app. And other options out there are a little too expensive. Maybe they're a little laggy. Maybe they don't get enough updates. Some of them do. Some of them work great. but the costs are prohibitive for some people, especially ones where you only had to pay once, and then they suddenly change their minds and decide you have to pay all the time. I
Yeah.
swear I paid for one, and for some reason, I guess I couldn't remember that login and downloaded the app again using the free version for a while, and then they suddenly went out of nowhere. Yeah, now it's monthly, and I'm like, okay, well, give me my free one back again. Even though you have to use the legacy one, you can't use the new one, which is a dick move, by the way, as a company.
Yeah.
You can use our old app as long as you want forever, but we're not giving you any new features. Yeah, you paid for a lifetime for an app. It's okay. I understand. It's not a car, right? It's not going to break down. You don't buy a car for. I mean, it's not like buying a car and you keep it for as long as you can. Right, you're supposed to get updates, but anyways, I digress on that one. Blackmagic, I knew was going to make an Android app, so, I'm not even sure how long ago it is now, a few weeks, a month ago, month and a half, whatever. Out of nowhere, the news popped up. Yes, they now have an Android app, and of course, I've been trying it out. It's phenomenal. The video is easily on par with anything you get out of an iPhone, and that's an iPhone using Blackmagic camera app. Except that, of course, you can shoot, in whatever they call that format that what is it? Apple,
Oh,
uh
the HGV or
no, 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 you're thinking it's not H well, it shoots HLG, that's not a problem. No, it's just a much higher level format than that. It's, like, well into the pro level type
yeah, it's
stuff.
HEVI or something like that. It's some acronym.
HEIV, but that's not what the reason why it is. It's something
Oh,
else
that
that for some reason my brain is not working right now. It's basically like a flat profile, but that's the wrong term. But that just it allows you to do color grading better. You end up with a more bit rate, higher bit rate video, and no saturation whatsoever. So when you
mm,
go in, all the information for the colors is in the video, but you have to pull it out in a professional app like DaVinci Resolve or something like that. Now, the interesting thing is that Blackmagic Design, of course, is the same company that makes DaVinci Resolve, which I love to use. And now I have this app, and some of the features that were available and updated later in the Apple version, but not in the Android version because it came later. I got the update just yesterday, and I've been playing with it. Man, it's sweet. I absolutely love it, and I really do wanna take some video, and be able to show, on here, in the future as soon as I find something to shoot that isn't just the grass in the front yard or something like that. If I can find something interesting, I'll take the video. I just I don't have a muse, but I definitely wanna do that because what I wanna do is I wanna show you the raw video, an example of what the Pixel can do, which would be the best thing I could possibly do with it, an example of what the phone can do with the Blackmagic camera with no extra settings and not edited, and then also the Blackmagic camera and edited in DaVinci Resolve. And it's amazing. You'll like what you'll see is an absolutely incredible difference, what you
yeah,
can do. And I should mention too, DaVinci Resolve is a professional, and I mean literally professional video editing and color correcting and color grading software that is used in Hollywood. It's used on blockbuster movies. It's used on top TV shows, commercials, and music videos from some of your favorite artists all over the world. That is the go-to for color grading and color correcting, and it also has everything built into it. You put your videos in, you cut your video, you edit your video, you put your special effects in, you do all of your sound editing, and visual effects and everything in it, and it's all built into the one app, $0. There are things you can pay for it, pay a few $100s, which is lifetime, by the way, not a year, not a month, forever, and get all of the updates, um, to get the extra pro features that you can get if you need them. But 98% of everything that you can do to make a professional video, you do with the free, which
mm.
is incredible. And so I trust Blackmagic Design, and I'm pointing at it like as if you could see the screen. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't know why I didn't just save this page. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, I was looking on my phone because I remember I had some kind of, additional camera app. It's called ProShot. I forget where I picked it
Yeah,
up. It's a paid app, but I did some kinda, like, survey or I did something that I got it for free, and it's got, like, tons of features and
right.
capabilities. Of course, you're far more versed at that stuff than I am. I don't know a lot of the, um, technical
Yeah.
things to do to,
Well, I will say the one you
use
got, I
it
mean, it
effectively.
yeah, it's okay, but I would call it garbage. Here's the thing about Blackmagic camera, and this is why I wanna say this to
Oh,
people.
did you wanna show
It
this on the screen?
I thought I was. I forgot to hit the button, didn't I?
You did.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Is it showing?
I just hit it because I just noticed you
Oh,
had it over.
I didn't realize I hadn't hit the button. Okay, I'm
There's your
glad you did.
blooper.
Okay, yeah, good enough. I asked for it. Anyways, all right. Again, this app is free. There is zero cost to it whatsoever. There's zero limitations to what you can do with it. And basically, all the features you get on iOS, you now also get on Android. And because it's caught up with it now, as of yesterday, it seems that the updates that they do, you should be able to get either at the same time or within a few days of each other, depending on which
Mm,
one goes first or whatever. Now, this is when it came out for Android, was only available for Galaxy S23 series phones and S24 series phones, Pixel 7 series phones, and Pixel 8 series phones. However, everything new going in, it will automatically work with. In other words, the
right.
new Galaxies when they come out, the new Pixels when they're out next month. But they've also added a number of other phones today. I believe they were, I was gonna say Huawei, but obviously not. Wha one of those other, Asian, phone companies, I can't remember. I don't think Oppo was the name, but I wouldn't doubt if somebody could make this work with Oppo anyways. But,
Like, is it
okay.
Xiaomi or I don't know how you pronounce it, Xoimi
Xiaomi,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, thank you very much.
Xiaomi? Yeah, I don't know how you
No,
pronounce that.
Xiaomi, yeah, it's pronounced Xiaomi. Okay, I'm trying to find the first part of this, that I wanna actually show up here. Yeah, get the Hollywood look with a phone. Blackmagic camera puts the professional features you need for feature film, television documentaries in your pocket. Now you can create YouTube and TikTok content with a cinematic look and broadcast quality ENG. Okay, that just slipped me. Imagine having a run and gun camera in your hand. Yeah, okay, that's all marketing. Who cares? Um, Now, of course, you well, get for free or purchase whatever an app that lets you do pro controls. You're gonna see all of this stuff here where, like, the lens size or I mean, which lens you're using, frames per second. I mean, all this stuff is gonna show up, but the difference here is the granular amount of control that you can get with it. Like, if you look I don't you can't see my mouse moving, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can? Okay, perfect, okay. All of these things have several functionalities to each one of them, and you don't see this in here at this point, but this top one, allows you to have another button that shows up here. When you click that, you can actually do what's called a focus pull, which allows you to tap the focus points ahead of time and then just tap on the button to have a perfectly smooth focus, or
Mm.
to actually hit an automatic button to have it do it automatically and then just hit record, and it'll begin to do its automatic focus. And it's absolutely brilliant. That's another
So
one of
I
the things that just
I
Hmm?
assume I assume the, image stabilization is built into the OS, not the app, so whether you're using that or the native camera app, the image stabilization works the same, right?
Well, the optical image stabilization is only available on phones that have it. However, this app is also only available on phones that have optical image stabilization. Is that ironic, or is it just because they only make it for flagships? I'm going with the latter. But it also has, and now here's the thing. Again, a couple of the other apps will allow you to do both optical and the other kind of stabilization where it just crops in, so it can basically move the picture around to keep it steady. That works great, but it also creates a warping look. Now, software has gotten a lot better over the years, so it's not nearly as bad. But that said, it does not use the software on the phone It has to use its own for that. It uses the phone's optical if you choose it, or it uses its own, and it works really, really well. If you need to zoom in and you're trying to handhold but not move around a lot, then you should use the, oh my god, I can't even remember what it's called. Um, that's embarrassing. Not optical zoom, but the, or not zoom, I mean, stabilization, but the normal stabilization where it drops in. So if you wanted to, say, use your 5 times lens or go to 10 times or whatever, and you're just hand holding, then don't use the optical, use that one, because if you're just standing there and you're shaking just a little bit, it'll be rock solid still, rock solid.
Yeah.
If you're moving around, use the optical. You'll still get a little bit of that camera shake, but it won't lag behind. There'll be no lagginess, there'll be no weird warping look, and you can make it that shaky camera look, that was so popular in the 80s and 90s films, especially 90s. Michael Bay. It's Michael Bay look without the explosions, hopefully.
Yeah.
One of the things it does, over here, you see project select stuff. You can select your projects and stuff right inside the app. So you have your clips. They can be named. And one of the great things about it is that, when you watch a TV show or a movie, at the beginning, sometimes you see them do that thing with the board. It's a clapboard. And they have the scene number written, the name of the show, the name of the scene, what take it is, and any other information they need, even the camera angle or something, or the actor on it. And they hit that. And the reason they do that is that sound that you hear is how they sync the sound. They have this information that you can build into every single clip. And you can choose to make a clap sound if you want to help sync your audio later, especially if you're going to use external audio. And so all of this is built into the app. No other app has ever done that before, where you can
Hmm.
do all of it right in the app. And you can lock your white balance on record. So whatever you set it to, it may move around, but as soon as you hit record, it won't change. So your snow won't suddenly turn blue when you go to the shadows, right? You can plug in external monitors. So you can actually mount your phone to a rig and have a bigger monitor that you're looking at,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. There's just so many things, changing your frames per second. And also, rather than using shutter speed, I wonder if they have an example of it here. They don't, at least not so far. You can change it from shutter speed to camera, or to shutter angle, which is basically how movie cameras work. Uh, and I don't want to get into that. That's a big long rigmarole. But when you're shooting video, if you're a videographer, you probably understand shutter angles, and you definitely prefer that over 1/120th or something like that. So it's just really incredible. It's free. How the heck can you not like that?
Yeah. No,
For
that's
what
great.
for what it does.
Yeah.
When I mean what it does is it does a lot. And I gotta minimize this screen. What am I doing? Okay, it was in my way. Um, yes, sir.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
still excited about it, but it's great.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, that's not going to be as functional for me because I don't really utilize all those advanced
Yeah.
features because I'm not, I mean, I could learn how to use them, but I don't really have the need to learn how to use it really.
Yeah, well, that's
But
not something you're not the target group for that. The
right,
target
right,
group
right.
Yeah, the target group for that app is like, at minimum, is me. Somebody who wants to do something with it, even though he has to get off his butt to do it, and
Well, and
hasn't yet
already
done
has
it.
some
But
knowledge of how those
that's at
things
the
work.
minimum. There's a lot of people that are like, "Yeah, I would love to do a little documentary, or I wanna do some of my stuff," or some people just doing YouTube videos, but they'd like
Yeah.
more freedom to get it more. And also, I can shoot 24 frames per second. I can't do that on my Pixel without a third party app.
Really? Because the Samsung can.
Of course, because it's a Samsung. Apple can do it because it's an Apple. But Google doesn't think you need 24 frames per second. Or can I? Wait a minute. I think I can, but I can only do it in 1080p and 720p. Listen, if you're shooting in 720p, go home, turn off your phone. Don't shoot in 720p. Right?
1080 is still
1080,
acceptable, but
1080 is acceptable, especially if you're using an app like this because it uses a much higher bit rate than anyone's phone normally does. So you actually you end up with good quality. Also, when you use something like DaVinci Resolve, it's free. You can actually sharpen the video, and I mean make it look sharp so it looks real. And making it look cinematic is really easy. And what I love about this is you can put all the lines on it, so you can see the aspect ratio lines. So I don't have an anamorphic lens, but I can put the lines on for a 2.35 aspect ratio, and then when I put it into DaVinci Resolve, I can just
yeah,
2.35 aspect ratio. And the best part about it is I can do that with the ultra wide lens and keep my subject in the center so you don't notice the warping on the sides. Anamorphic lenses don't warp on the sides because it does this and then stretches it after. That's
yeah,
why you don't get warping with an anamorphic lens, by the way. But an ultra wide lens, everything's warped. So if I got, say, my TV on the side over here, if this is what my TV normally looks like, it's going to look like this on the side of an ultra wide lens. So if you got a subject in the center, like a person, a car, or whatever, then the sides you just don't pay attention to. You just
right,
notice there's a much wider picture and you can see more. It's
right,
especially true if everything's further away. It doesn't warp as much. So you got a subject up close and you can see everything in the background. And that's what I love about the app allows you to be able to do that very easily and not miss what you're trying to shoot. So
nice.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
So
very
if
cool.
we're gonna get into entertainment, uh, perhaps because I am curious, since you're close to Nashville, I know somebody. I was working with somebody who said that they were actually taking their vacations. I think it's next week or this week or something. And he says going to Nashville. Uh, so I'm curious, is it race season or is that already done or is it coming up?
The Indy race is coming up in September.
Ah,
Um,
September. Okay.
yeah, but they took it out of Nashville. It's now at
Oh,
the super speedway because they're building the new Titan Stadium. And so half of the track
oh,
is gone now because they had to take the park because they went through the
right.
parking lot of Nissan Stadium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's kinda like, the Toronto Indy.
Yeah,
They do part of the parking lot and out onto one of the main roads and back around past
yeah,
BMO Stadium and stuff like that.
yeah. Pit Road
Uh,
was actually the front of the stadium, so I was honestly I would have had tickets again this year because I loved the street race,
isn't
but
that about
I
the
don't
same time
want
you're
to
going to
go.
Germany anyways?
Well, it was
Do your own
before I
racing?
go. It would have been before I go.
Oh, so you would have been able to watch
I
one and
would have
then
been
do
able
one.
to go, yes,
Well, wait,
but
how okay, how far away is it that they moved it to?
well, it's not that much farther, but it's on a super speedway. It's on an oval, and I don't have any.
Oh,
It's a two and a
no.
half
Oh.
mile oval, so I don't. It's just
That's
not doesn't
I'm
appeal
sorry.
to me.
I know a lot of people love it and, power to you, you know? I couldn't sit there for 6 hours watching oval driving. I can't do it on TV either.
Well, it's not
I
6 hours.
can watch it. I know, I well, you technically, yes, because there's always something going on, but it's just a race.
Yeah,
But, I mean, honestly, I would love to go to the Toronto Indy. I've seen it on TV. I've actually never watched your race on TV, which is shocking to me. I think I meant to last year, and I don't remember why I didn't.
yeah,
Because all these big races are on TV, always.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember why.
Well, I might have to come up to Toronto and go see a race there because the street circuits are so much fun to be at and watch, and there's always so much excitement, and
They do
I
sell
don't
out
know.
quickly, so
The
if
only
you
oval
decide
I
to do that,
really
make sure to plan in
enjoyed.
advance.
Oh, for sure. The only oval I really ever really enjoyed was when I used to go to Bristol for that's a short track in NASCAR, because you could
Oh,
literally
yeah.
see the entire track. It's a short track,
That's yeah, but that's different.
and it's exciting.
NASCAR and an oval is actually fun. Open wheel is not, and the reason why is because they avoid each other like the plague, because a crash in open wheel racing is next to a death, you know, like, and it can be very easily. You don't deliberately hit people with your car. Not that I'm suggesting that the NASCAR guys are deliberately hitting each other, but there's bumping. It's like watching roller derby.
Yeah,
You
that's a good
know,
way to put it.
there's always a fender hanging off
Yeah,
by like the fifth lap, right?
yeah. There's always a
Um,
little bump and grind.
and I don't know how many NASCAR races there are per year,
A
but
lot.
yeah, I would say by the time you get into, say, 25% into the season, you've probably seen dozens of wrecked vehicles, but not all of them completely toast. Redoable, and that's the one thing I love about it. NASCAR. People gotta understand, everything you see in the race in NASCAR is all replaceable easily. The entire outside shell just comes off. It has nothing to do with the operation of the car whatsoever. And the wheels, of course, easy to change. Everything underneath it is where all the goodies are, the roll cage and the
That's
frame and the
yeah, but
engine.
that's not 100% true about it has
No,
nothing
no,
to do
well,
with the
for the
physical
well, no, no,
car.
that's not what I mean. It has everything to do with aerodynamics, but I
Yes.
mean, it's nothing to do with safety, right? If you rip apart the outside of the car, it is the least expensive thing for them to fix by putting another piece of the car on. Like, I mean, I'm sure some of them, if they ripped enough off the car, but at the end of the race, they could just literally replace the top of it as long as they inspect the frame and everything else and say, yeah, it's still good to go. Next race,
Well, there's a lot of
right?
races that they duct tape panels back together, and
Well,
they
yeah,
you don't
exactly.
do that on the
But
IndyCar or Formula
no,
1.
the Indy and Formula One, kart, any of that, you can't
Yeah,
do that.
no.
The entire frame of the car is a safety cage. Well, not the entire part. There is the center part is a safety cage, but the rest of it is built aerodynamics. If it comes apart at all, the whole car starts to come apart. That's the thing about it because it's like a giant wing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I mean, it's a wing that's supposed to keep you on the ground as opposed to in the air. But IndyCar and Formula One are wings that
yeah,
keep you down. Wings with wheels, that's it. And you're sitting on how many how many horsepower? Oh my god.
yeah,
And it's sitting behind you. That just seems scary as heck.
yeah.
I'd love to do it.
It's
Don't get me
it's
wrong, I'd love to do it. I'd love to drive one, but, it's scary.
yeah, yeah. Maybe one day,
So
I know they do. I'm sure they do it at Toronto. They at least in Nashville they would
uh,
do like you had to catch them early though because they'd sold out where you could take a ride. You know, you could get they had a 2-seater
I
Indy
the
car.
prob they probably do, and it would most likely be day 1. Day 1 is a little bit more fan interactive. Day 2 is probably a little bit less, at least do anything to do with the track anyways. Um, Day 3 is just race day, period.
Yeah,
Anything to do with the fans is basically the concession stand.
yeah, because day one is usually all like testing your car and going out for test runs and practice
They they
runs
do
and
they do have they do have an actual
heats
race on
and
day
yeah.
1. They have practice stuff and all that mumbo jumbo in the morning, and then they do, I don't remember, some cheap slow series.
Oh yeah, it's not
Something
an
my
Indy. Yeah,
something my
it's
car could
yeah.
probably keep up with on the track. It's not
They do
fast.
like Indy Light.
Uh,
They have Indy Light races that they'll do.
Sometimes they do, but usually, I can't even remember what it's called. It's basically such a lower level race, the first one on day 1, that it's basically the same class of race that in some states 16 and 17-year-olds are allowed to drive. That
Yeah.
would
Do
never be
they
allowed in Canada though, but,
the
um
one of the funnest aspects that I used to love, and I don't know if they're going to be at this year's or not because again I haven't really paid attention to it, but it's the stadium trucks. The stadium trucks on the Nashville Street
Ooh,
Circuit were amazing to watch. They were so much fun,
that
so
would be
much fun to
cool.
watch. Did they not do that in Toronto? I thought the
I
Stadium Series raced in
I
Toronto when IndyCar
maybe
does.
they do. I don't know. I've never actually been other than to
Oh,
stand outside
so much fun.
because I can see one corner from one area. I can see the corner.
I mean, you got
And would the back stretch of the corner where usually the accidents happen.
yeah, yeah. You got these
So
800 horsepower, basically desert, racer trucks on asphalt, just shredding it. It's just so much
are
fun.
these the same ones that you see in those, oh my god, I can't remember the right word for it. Um, Rally racing, the truck rally racing?
Yeah. I mean, they're a
Similar
similar
style.
design, but
Like
these
it
are
looks like it
designed
looks like one of them
for.
European, like, Volvo-like,
Mm,
two-seater trucks the flat side, the flat top. Uh,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know about the Volvo. I don't know what you're referring to there,
well,
but
because
when
it
we get
looks
done here,
European.
look up the
Usually
Stadium
not
Series
usually
trucks,
not
and
anything built in North
yeah.
America is what I meant,
Yeah,
like
look up
European
Stadium
style.
Series trucks, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get off the podcast. They're so much fun to watch, and if you want to talk about bump and grind, I've seen them roll, flip over, put it back in gear, and keep going. I mean, these things are just like it's so amazing to watch.
Stadium Series trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just asking Google to show it to me.
yeah.
Uh, although this is nothing what I thought it was. Okay.
Robbie
Oh,
Gordon is one who started the
are these
series.
just pickup trucks, or did it give me the wrong results?
No, they're pickup trucks. Yeah,
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they do that, yeah. Not
yeah.
every year, but I believe they have done it. Um, I could see why that would look really interesting on asphalt when they obviously are meant to be able to do this on dirt and take jumps. That would
Oh,
be
they jump on
interesting.
asphalt. It's yeah.
I guess they would, yeah.
There was one section of the track in Nashville that I would be able to go up to, and when they had a jump right there, and so when they jumped, you're like this, looking up at the bottom of the truck. You watching this big giant
Yeah.
truck, and they were flying
Yeah.
like, ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah. Anyways,
Wow.
I'm sad that they're not running it through Nashville. If you can't tell,
Yeah. No,
it
I
was
can
so
tell.
much fun.
I
I
can tell.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, actually, that's
Anyways,
interesting. It's funny that I never because I remember bringing that up a few years ago because I've been saying to you for a couple of years now. I said, "Listen, make a plan. Come up here. Come to Canada."
yeah.
And he said, "No, I'd rather go to Germany and drive a car." Can't say I blame you, but
Yeah, on the most iconic track ever to have cars race on it, for sure.
that's my dream track too. I admit it, but as I'd be doing that if I could too. But nonetheless, because I've said before, like the only like come in the summer because I mean, in come in the winter, I know it'd be great to be able to go to a hockey game, see a game, at Maple Leaf Gardens, especially if it was against the Jets. but or the Preds. You'd like it better if it was the Preds. You'd bring your
But
Preds
hey,
jersey.
I'd wear a Jets jersey at a Maple Leafs game. I'd be
I'd
all Jets.
hey, I'd wear a Preds jersey at a Maple
Go
Leaf
Jets,
game.
go!
Go Preds, go. But here's the thing. Uh, there's a lot more to do in the summer. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
In and out of the city, all over the place. And so, yeah, if you came at any point in the future when the race was going on, uh, obviously, I I made the arrangements for that first. Then yeah, you could check out the race, and there would be so many other things to see
Oh
at the
yeah.
same time. But I've never, like I said, I've only seen the outside, and I've never even considered going because I would never go by myself to a freaking race. I'll go by myself to a movie, to a non-expensive restaurant because you don't go to an expensive restaurant and go dinner for one.
Yeah.
But and I wouldn't go to a
La-
race like that either.
Last year, of course, I always bought pit passes. I always enjoy going to the pits because you get right up to the cars.
Yeah.
Last year, I took my 5-year-old grandson and my Anthony, so we all went. And Scott Dixon is one of my favorite drivers. He's a Chip Ganassi driver. And we were up by his pits and we were just standing on the outside and we were just looking at the cars. And I was just waiting to take a picture with my grandson standing like where I could get the car in the background. And one of the crew says, hey, you want to have him take a picture with the car? I was like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks. He's like, all right, bring him over here. So we got into the pits. They put him in the car.
Nice.
And I'm just like, bro, can I get
Did
in?
wait, did he appreciate it the way you did?
Well, I mean, he's 5, but he
Oh,
loves
no.
He loves race cars.
Oh,
He
then he
watches F1 with his
probably
mom and dad like
then
every year.
he probably loved it even more than
Loved
you
it.
did.
He was stoked. His
Or
face was like,
basically, you were looking at your own 5-year-old self.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so like involved. I didn't even take
Yeah.
a picture of me and with the car behind me. It was all pictures of him. I'm like, idiot. But I was so involved. I was like, oh, this is so amazing. Like, he's going to remember this for the rest of his life. And he still, to this day, he wears his Scott Dixon jersey, his orange hat. He wears it all the time. He talks about it constantly. So it was amazing.
Yeah, that would be a fun time for sure.
They were super cool. And I was like, and then Scott McLaughlin, the other Chip Ganassi driver, walked by and was talking to him, and I got to take his picture with him. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. It was a lot of fun. So kudos to the IndyCar guys. They were super awesome.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I just listened to you, but I just realized I accidentally clicked off of a link and it's gone now. Something I was gonna get at, but
well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool AI stuff. It's like you were saying, it's just popping up like constantly. There's always something new and something maybe not so good. I'm sure there's still some crazy stuff going around with AI. But I think like anything, it's a tool, and you got to, you junk in, junk out. If you put good stuff in, you get good stuff out,
You know what? That's an excellent segue. You talk about good stuff and not good stuff. Listen, as Canadians, we appreciate that you think we're all the sweetest people in the world, and we always say sorry. But Canada has some issues just like everywhere else. We have our good people, and we have our orifices. But that said, this is embarrassing. 2 Canadians being sent home immediately, removed from Olympic team after drone incident. Okay, what drone incident are you asking? Well, you may have heard of it already. Apparently, some members of Team Canada, not the athletes, let's be clear about this, decided they were going to spy on, I think it was the New Zealand, was it soccer?
Yeah.
Yes, the New Zealand soccer team.
Yeah. Women's.
Yeah, women's soccer. Not that it matters whether it was women or
well,
men.
no, it doesn't. I'm just so it was which team
but yeah, it was a women's soccer team. Spying on drone. Now, apparently, there's been a number. I think they said something like 14 or 18 or something drone incidents, meaning they're not the only ones. But that doesn't mean it is a dick move. Why? First of all, this is the Olympics. This is supposed sportsmanship. If you can't win the game, shake hands and go home. It's the Olympics.
Yeah.
This is not how you behave. And people are going to say, "Oh, well, you're embarrassing the whole country." No, you're not. You're embarrassing yourselves.
Yeah.
As Canadians, I refuse to be embarrassed by the ass clowns that decided to do something so stupid. Why would you do that? That's like running the 100 meter in the Olympics while you have steroids in your system. I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah,
sorry,
I don't
Ben
understand.
Johnson, I'm still a fan of Ben Johnson, and to be honest with you, I still agree with him that he wasn't actually on steroids at that time.
I appreciate the coach saying that, look, I'm not coaching the next game as a sign of taking responsibility, so to speak, because ultimately she is responsible for what happens with the team.
Yes.
That's the unfortunate part of being in a position of responsibility. And so I appreciate the fact that she's like, look, I'm not going to coach that game just so you don't think that, hey, even though they're gone home, because they sent them home and I'm still here, that I'm somehow taking some kind of advantage of that. So someone else is coaching the game. I'm not coaching it. So I thought that was kind of a cool move on her part to at least I'd be like, look, yeah, we don't condone this, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and unfortunately, for at least 1 game, if not 2 games, that's all anyone's ever gonna talk about. So they've taken it away from the
Mhm.
athletes. Win or lose, they
Yeah,
take all that away from them, and it's not fair. I've got the same link twice. Why did I do that? Let me remove that one. Sorry. Segueing again, we're sticking with soccer. This is actually from a while ago. I forgot to bring this up before, but, Canada men's soccer, not Olympics, just Team Canada, beat Venezuela in penalty kicks to reach the semis in first Copa America. Now, when I say first Copa America, they've never made it to the tournament before. So as their first time, and they made it to the semis. Of course, that's as far as they got. But that nonetheless, that's phenomenal. And just to be clear, and this is not a slight against the American team. The American
they didn't
team is
make it.
ranked way higher. They did not make it
Yeah,
into the knockout round at all.
and the
Canada got
coach
into
got
the knockout
immediately
round
fired.
and then got into the semis. And they came within a kick away from
Yeah,
making the final. Um, but they unfortunately also lost the third place game. So they
yeah,
did actually finish 4th. But finishing 4th when you're ranked 40 something, I don't even remember. I think they made it up to 43rd. They finished 4th, and the rankings gone up to 43rd. Um,
yeah. Greg Berhalter was immediately fired after not making that. The whole collapse of the U.S. soccer team, the men's soccer team, was pathetic. That they should
yeah,
not have
yeah,
lost like that.
I don't see how that, like, I don't know. It doesn't mean they're generally supposed to be better than that for sure. I think worst case scenario, because Canada's actually getting better, the US should be able to either beat Canada, do as well as Canada, or be on par with any given day of the week. Any tournament, any match between the two should either be even or the US winning, or if Canada does win, it would have to go all the way to penalty kicks or something. That's how good they're supposed to be. And this is given that Canada's getting better, right? Give them
Mhm.
another couple of years. Canada's going to be one of those teams. And because I've always said this, once they get there, they're not going to fall apart because they have a taste for it now. And we have so many people that have immigrated here, and from coming from places where soccer was their life, and their children have grown up here loving soccer, and
Yeah,
their children are now the ones who are becoming adults and playing soccer. And this is true for Americans too. Americans had a strong team for a long time, and for a long time, those were American-born people whose grandparents
yeah,
were American and whose grandparents before them were American. But now your soccer team is getting more people who are American, and their parents maybe they weren't, or maybe their grandparents weren't, because soccer's more popular. It's the most popular sport in the world. It has been for like 150 years.
yeah. And it's gaining
Uh,
a lot of ground in the states, North
and,
America, I should
and
say.
yeah, it absolutely is. Although it's going to be hard pressed to find enough people to want to go to games in Toronto because they never win.
They used to.
Mic drop. Well, they actually won the MLS Cup years ago.
Yeah.
But there was also no marquee players in the league at the time. There was no did they even have LA Galaxy even at the time? Who, of course, dominated the league for like 5 years.
I
Um,
don't recall.
well, your team is better than my team. I mean,
Well, not this year. We're at the. I don't even think we're gonna make the playoffs this year. It's been a total collapse. And matter of
well,
fact,
has TFC even
Nashville
won a
SC
game?
coach got fired.
Has TFC even won a game this year?
Oh, I'm sure. I haven't really paid
I
much attention
I
to it. I
haven't even
just
looked, but I'm starting to wonder if they've even won a game. Um Oh, you know what? There's one other thing I wanted to bring up. This is about Toronto. Now this is kind of something I wanted to bring up because again, it goes along the lines of the whole Canada nice. Sorry, listen, we have um, what do you call it? Just like any major U.S. city, in Toronto, in Montreal, Winnipeg, Calgary, all these places, we have huge car theft problems, carjackings. Yeah, all 'cause of it. So I came across this story where it says Canada Border Services Agency mobile X-ray scanner sent to the GTA or Greater Toronto area in response to auto thefts, so they can X-ray containers before they get shipped out to see if they have stolen vehicles in them.
Hmm.
So, honestly, I'm bringing that up because it's not like I'm trying to make Canada sound bad. I'm gonna get flack on this. Some people are gonna watch it and go, "You're a horrible Canadian. You're making it sound bad." Listen, I'm calling it like it is. Here's the thing. Canada and the United States are so unbelievably similar, and most Canadians are afraid to admit it. Yes, we do things a little differently. Our political structure is not exactly the same. We eat mostly the same foods. We watch mostly the same TV shows. We listen to mostly the same music. I mean, we speak mostly the same language, and I say mostly because you have a lot less French people. We have a lot less Spanish people, or
For
people
sure,
who
eh?
speak Spanish, rather. Hey, yeah.
What is that about?
Listen, if you're going to be talking like that, then I'm going to have to get up here in these hard R's, and I'm going to start talking like I'm from somewhere
Uh,
way down there. I'm not going to try to tell you I'm from Texas because obviously this ain't no Texas accent. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to start making fun of Canadians and all that, you're making fun of my buddies. Is that a
bunch of
terrible
hosers in the
accent?
Great White North, eh?
A bunch of hicks down south, right?
Yeah, no, for sure though. I agree with what you're saying.
Hosers, eh?
Yeah, for sure, eh?
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, I'll just drop my American accent. I'll just talk like this for the rest of the episode. Just make
Somebody's,
it out.
eh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing. If you go into a Scottish accent, you have to do the right one. If you don't get it right, then everyone's gonna say it doesn't sound right. It depends on where you're coming from, right? So this is one accent. There's a totally different kind somewhere else. If I
Yeah,
switch that, it's not gonna work whatsoever.
I
You
can't do
understand what
an
I'm
Irish.
saying, laddie? You can't do
Yeah,
what?
Irish accent. That's
That's
pretty
not an
good.
that's not an Irish accent, laddie. What are you
Whatever it
saying?
is. What
That's from Scotland. What's the
Scotland,
matter with
whatever.
you? You don't know a Scottish accent when you hear it.
No, I don't apparently.
Well,
So
was it that bad?
no, I mean it sounded good, but I don't Scottish,
Probably
Irish, whatever.
probably, yeah, he's to say
It's a
that, but
ish. It's some
to a
kind of ish
Scot
accent.
yeah, to a Scotsman, he'd probably think it sounded terrible.
Probably. Yeah.
Just
So
like I could sit there and I can do different types of Southern accents. Those more wide open ones with the slurs or the one that the hard R's, if a guy, I talk to a lot of people that come out of Texas, right? And I swear to God, they sound a lot more like this. And it's not really that thick in most parts of Texas, but those R's are real hard. Now, you can't tell me that's no different, is it? You listen to Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is pretty much. I hope he doesn't hear this. He's gonna kick my ass. Please don't kill me. I respect you, Steve.
yes.
I do, especially since you have viewers. But
Yeah.
like and subscribe. You too, Steve. Anyways,
Well, with that being
yeah,
said, that's a good segue to
get out.
say adios. Yes. So
Arrivederci.
uh
A svidania.
our
Tschüss.
first live stream.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. If you watch it after the fact on the recording, whatever, let us know what you think. Drop it in some comments, and we pay attention to those. So
Yeah.
yeah, on that note, I am Robert from the US, and I'm going to say adios and let Lionel
Lionel.
talk us out.
Well, I was just gonna say Lionel from Toronto. So you have a great one, and we'll see you again next time.
See you later.